What if I told you that the strange little symbols scribbled in dusty old books were actually part of a secret language, one used not just to turn lead into gold, but to unlock the hidden depths of the human soul? Welcome to the world of alchemical symbols. Before emojis, before hieroglyphs, there were the cryptic marks of the alchemists, circles with dots, triangles with lines, serpents eating their own tails. At first glance, they looked like the doodles of a mad monk, but every single one of them was packed with layers of meaning. Because in alchemy, transformation wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. Alchemy is often mistaken for primitive chemistry, a failed attempt to create gold from base metals, but that's only one part of the story. Alchemy was, in truth, a sacred science, one that stretched across centuries and cultures, from ancient Egypt and Greece to the Islamic Golden Age to medieval Europe. It was practiced in temples, monasteries, and secret laboratories hidden behind churches. Now here's the fascinating part. Alchemists didn't just mix chemicals, they encoded their work in symbols. Why? Well, partly for secrecy. The church wasn't too fond of people messing with divine matter, but more importantly, symbols allowed them to speak about multiple realities at once. A single sign could refer to a metal, a planet, a spiritual principle, and a stage of personal transformation, all at the same time. Take the symbol for Mercury, for example. To a chemist, it was quicksilver, a liquid metal. To an astrologer, it was the planet Mercury, the messenger. To an alchemist, it was the spirit, the shapeshifter, the part of us that flows between thought and matter. That's how deep these symbols go. Then there's sulfur, representing fire, drive, ego, the masculine principle, and salt, the anchor, the body, the crystallized result of a process. These weren't random drawings, they were chosen with precision. In fact, many came from earlier mystical systems, Hermeticism, Gnosticism, and even early Hindu and Taoist traditions. The Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, is one of the oldest symbols in the world, and in alchemy, it stands for the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Transformation through destruction. And that's the heart of the matter. Transformation. Alchemical symbols weren't just used to describe chemical reactions in a lab, they mapped the human experience. How we break down, evolve, and eventually become something new. The gold they were chasing wasn't always literal. Sometimes it was enlightenment, wholeness, the true self. So next time you see one of those strange old symbols, don't dismiss it. It's not just medieval graffiti, it's a message from an ancient world where art, science, and spirit were all the same thing. Now that we've cracked open the door to this hidden language, let's go deeper. Because here's the secret most people miss. These alchemical symbols weren't just tools for changing matter, they were maps for changing yourself. Let's start with the three core symbols, known as the Tria Prima, or the three primes of alchemy. Think of them like the primary colors of transformation. Every alchemical process, whether in the lab or in the soul, begins with these three: Mercury, sulfur, and salt. Mercury. The spirit. Mercury isn't just a shiny liquid metal, it's the most mysterious of the three. In alchemy, Mercury represents the mind, the spirit, the part of you that moves between worlds. It's fluid, ever-changing, hard to grasp. One moment it's calm, the next it's volatile. Just like your thoughts, right? But Mercury is also the connector. It links the physical with the spiritual. It's imagination, intuition, the messenger between what you are and what you could become. In psychological terms, Mercury is your adaptability, the ability to change and evolve. Sulfur. The soul. Sulfur is fire, passion, power. It's your will, the part of you that craves purpose and expression. Alchemists saw sulfur as the soul's energy, the thing that burns away what's impure. It's ego, yes, but also drive. Think of sulfur as your creative force, your personal sun. When balanced, it gives you strength and identity. But when unbalanced, it becomes arrogance, obsession, or burnout. Sulfur is the fuel of transformation. It wants change, and it's not afraid to get a little messy. Salt, the body. Salt is stability, structure, the body, both literally and metaphorically. While Mercury floats and sulfur burns, salt is the ground beneath your feet. It holds form. In the inner world, salt is your habits, your boundaries, your presence in the here and now. It's the crystallized result of transformation, what remains after the fire and the flood. In personal growth, you need all three. Mercury helps you imagine a new life. Sulfur gives you the fire to go after it, and salt turns those dreams into reality. Why it matters. These symbols aren't just old metaphors, they're tools. Imagine facing a personal crisis. Maybe your job no longer fulfills you. You feel stuck, directionless. That's Mercury whispering, there's more to explore. Then comes Sulfur saying, burn it down, start again. And finally Salt. Let's build something solid from the ashes. Alchemy isn't about gold, it's about integration. Learning how to blend the spirit, the soul, and the body until you become whole. The Philosopher's Stone, that legendary object, it was never about eternal life or literal riches. It symbolized inner unity, the moment when your thoughts, emotions, and actions align. So ask yourself, right now, which of these symbols are you living out? Are you floating, burning, or grounding? Because once you can name it, you can work with it. And in the next chapter, we'll go even further to see how these ancient processes can guide us through modern life. So far, we've explored the ancient origins of alchemical symbols, and we've decoded their hidden meanings. But now comes the real magic, bringing those ancient insights into the modern world. Because the truth is, you don't need a laboratory to practice alchemy. Your life is the lab. Alchemy was always about transformation, not just of metals, but of the self. And in today's chaotic high-speed world, we're all craving transformation. Whether it's escaping burnout, overcoming emotional blocks, or simply finding clarity in who we are, the journey alchemists mapped out centuries ago still holds. Let's break it down. The 7 stages of alchemical transformation. Alchemists described the path of transformation in 7 stages, a process not unlike the emotional and psychological cycles we all go through in life. Each stage has its own symbolic meaning, and when we look closely, we realize we've all been through them. Stage 1, Calcination, the fire that burns away the ego. Life hits hard, maybe it's failure, heartbreak, or loss. This is the destruction of false identity. Your old self is being broken down. Stage 2, Dissolution, the melting of beliefs. You question everything, structures collapse, you feel lost. But this is where intuition starts to rise. Stage 3, Separation, clarity begins. You start to see what's truly valuable within yourself, what to keep, what to discard. A sense of discernment awakens. Stage 4, Conjunction, reuniting the pieces. You integrate mind and heart, past and present. It's the beginning of true self-alignment. Stage 5, Fermentation, the spark of new life. Creativity returns. A vision is born. Something inside you begins to grow again, more alive than before. Stage 6, Distillation, refinement. You test your truth, shed distractions, align deeper with purpose. This is where wisdom starts to emerge. Stage 7, Coagulation, transformation complete. You become solid, grounded. A new self has crystallized, one that can act, create, and serve from a place of wholeness. These aren't just poetic stages. They're a framework for personal growth. Think about it. Going through a breakup. That's calcination, rebuilding your values afterward. Separation and conjunction. Starting something completely new, like a business or a lifestyle shift. That's fermentation through coagulation. When you understand what stage you're in, you stop resisting it. You work with the fire, not against it. You can journal through the stages, create rituals to honor each one, Even everyday actions, like decluttering your room, changing your morning routine, or setting boundaries, become acts of alchemy when done with intention. Remember the core symbols. Mercury gives you the flexibility to flow through uncertainty. Sulfur gives you the passion to keep going. Salt grounds your journey into tangible results. You don't need to wear robes or chant in Latin to be an alchemist. If you've ever been broken, questioned who you were, and come back stronger, you already are one. Alchemy isn't ancient history. It's your current reality. It's the sacred art of becoming more than you were. One symbol, one stage, one insight at a time. So, where are you in your transformation right now? Because now you have the symbols. You have the map. And the next step, it's yours to take.